Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my Thursday live stream where we talk about photography and catch up on what's new. And I'm so sorry, I posted the live stream last night and I forgot to change the time for today at 10 o'clock. So I know some of you came in last night at like 9 p.m. Yeah, I wasn't here. All I did was set it up, but I forgot to change the time. But anyway, I appreciate everyone that's here today. Pull up the chat section so I can see it. Of course, it's not showing. Seriously. Beats me. Let me. I don't know. I don't know why I'm having so many technical difficulties today. I'm clicking this, I'm clicking this, clicking that. The chat should be showing. What if I refresh? Hopefully you guys can still see me. Yeah, there we go. Just a refresh. Looks like that did it. Let me get a little water. Wow. So yeah, I've been kind of busy this week with all of the sort of the beginner videos for shutter speed and aperture, and I did one yesterday on electronic shutter versus mechanical. So if there's anybody new here, any new subscribers from those videos, I can answer any questions you might have about any of those videos or settings, or anybody that's here can ask me anything. Really, I'll do my best, because that's one of the things I like to do is make the chat sort of interactive so that I can answer questions or talk about photography, whatever's been happening. And as you guys know, I watch a lot of YouTube myself and watch a lot of the channels. So it's always interesting to see what people are coming out with, what kind of gear's coming out. And I haven't seen anything from Olympus since the OM1, really. So, and that's 3 months. And, in YouTube world, that's ancient history now, right? So, but good thing is, I think OM Systems is doing a good job keeping up their live streams and things. And I tried to look up I tried to find some local OM system reps, and there's one, Mike, I think his name's Mike Amico, who we subscribe to each other's Instagrams, but I haven't had any contact directly with him other than that, other than liking each other's photos or leaving a comment. But I'll see if I can try and have him on as a guest. But it seems like there's a lot of ambassadors in other countries where they're on YouTube a little bit more frequently, right? Like you see, what's his name? Tech Tuesdays every month. And there's another girl used to come on all the time. I haven't seen her as much lately, but I think she's US based. But I'll have to try and reach out. I'd like to get some more official, type guests in that have some sort of credentials with the individual camera company. So I'll start with OM Systems in particular, because that's the camera system of choice for me, right? But of course, we all enjoy different brands and different cameras for different reasons. And like I said, I've been taking out my Panasonic S5 because I got a new 50 millimeter lens for it, which is really fantastic. And I'm enjoying the 50 millimeter field of view, whatever that is. So it'd be 25 millimeters on our Olympus. So I've had my 25 millimeter attached to my OM1 or Pan F, whatever Olympus camera I have. And I really like it. I don't know. It seems to give me just wide enough that I can get most shots that I want to take done with it. And if it's not wide enough, I just do a pano, right? I take 2, 3, 5, 10 shots, whatever it takes. So I did a 10-shot pano of the Great Falls area, and that came out amazing. So if you guys go to my Flickr page that I have down here, you'll see it. It's sort of a landscape of a river with some rocks on it, and there's some clouds floating in the background. And that was a high res shot mode. That I think that was, yeah, that was a high res shot mode, but I think it was also a pano. I can't remember. It was about 2 weeks ago. I have to do another one. I have to do a whole video on doing high res shot panos or something, because I've done it a few times and the results are amazing. When you use high res shot mode and then do a pano with that and stitch them back together, and you get these humongous files. And if I remember correctly now, yeah, that one on the Flickr page, that was a single shot in high res shot mode using the 25 millimeter f1.8. And this lens, I mean, it's on sale now for I think $299, which I guess is about right given the pricing I'm seeing everywhere now, and the quality of this lens, right? I mean, it's kind of plasticky, so it's not a pro lens, but the image quality is outstanding. Even wide open, I usually stop it down to f2 just a tiny bit, or sometimes f2.8 at most, but I don't really need to. Even wide open, the images are really good. You can, of course, you can see a little bit better sharpness and contrast when you stop it down, but I'm very content with the images I'm getting wide open at 1.8 or f2 in particular. So if you don't have this lens now, and I made an argument for what your first prime lens should be, and that was at the time it was the 45 millimeter f1.8, because you buy a camera, it comes with a 14 to 42 kit lens, and the very next lens you should get is the 40 to 150 zoom, the little plastic one. That combination there will expand your photography, and you can do just about everything with that, right? But if you're going to buy a prime lens, it's a tough call between the 45 and the 25, which are 50 mil and 90 mil equivalent, if you want to look at it that way. But I'd still say the 45 should be your first prime. And my reasoning is, what's going to expand your photography the most, right? And I think since you already have the 25 millimeter kind of covered with the kit lens and the 14 to 42, and it's only about a 2-stop difference, right, between this prime and the 25, the prime and the kit lens. I feel like going to 45 millimeters, where it's closer to 3-stop difference, that's a bigger gap, right? And a tighter focal length, because the kit lens only goes to 42, the prime goes to 45, and it's like 3 stops faster, slightly more than 3 stops. And it's a relatively tight field of view, but I think, if you want to get into particularly doing portraits, or if you want to do some more close-up type work, even street photography, the 45 to me still makes the most sense as your first prime. The second prime, if you're not into that stuff, then the 25. But the second prime I think you should get is the 25 millimeter. And because that's a standard focal length and kind of covers just about any kind of photography you want to do. I mean, you can still do portraits with it. You can do landscapes, and you can get nice panos. And the nice thing about this particular focal length is that there's very little, if no, distortion or perspective distortion at 25 millimeters. So things don't look too compressed, things don't look too wide, meaning stretched out and distorted, that you would get with a wider lens. Even the 17, there's a little bit of distortion towards the sides. And I mean perspective distortion, not distortion in an optical way or a bad way. but distortion in the sense that it does pull the corners out a little bit. So the 17 has been my favorite lens for a long time. And I should rephrase that. It's been my favorite focal length for a long time if I was going to shoot a prime. But you don't get quite the depth of field. And by that, I mean I don't shoot shallow depth of field much, but you do get a little bit more depth, I think, with the 25 at f1.8 than you do with the 17. You get a little more sense of depth. And it's just very subtle, but just a little more depth. And also the perspective is, I think the 25 millimeters a little bit tighter than what you see with the human eye. Just a little tighter, but relative to the perspective you get from front to back, right? That depth. That perspective is almost identical. Meaning when I take a picture of a subject, whatever that might be, with the 25 millimeter, when I look at the final image that it captures, the distance of things look about the same, right? So when I take a picture with a 25 millimeter, I can say, well, that was about 4 or 5 feet away, or 2 meters from me when I took the picture. When I look at the image, because that depth perception is also roughly about the same as you see with your own natural eye. So I think in terms of going out and practicing photography, what you see with your own eyes, I think it helps you train your own eyes to see things and capture those things. Because a lot of times when you're zoomed all the way in, you have a 45 or a 75, or you have a 17 or 12 millimeter, the final image is very different than what you see with your own eyes. So that difference between what you see in the camera versus what you see with your own eyes makes it a little bit harder, I think, for absolute beginners to start composing and framing their images, in a natural and pleasing way. So the 25 I think, is a better tool as a beginner. And that's what I'm going to try. Maybe I'll make a video about it and my thoughts on it. And of course, it's all subjective and just personal opinion, right? This is just my opinion. I don't know if photography schools, because I never went to photography schools or professionals, trainers and things would tell people to use the 25 when they're trying to learn photography, meaning the 50 millimeter focal length. But it just makes sense to me, more intuitive to me as an educator, that if I'm going to train somebody to compose images and see things, to be able to see things when they go out and take a picture of it, I don't want the camera to change that perspective from what they see with their eye versus what they capture with the camera. So it'll be easier for me to teach someone composition and putting elements together, because I can say, you see that over there and you see that there, where that lines up, you see the juxtaposition of this and that, and okay, take a picture. And then when they take the picture, that perspective in terms of depth and pretty much the field of view, the field of view, let me just double check. Yeah, the field of view is tighter with the 25, but see, that helps because I can also teach framing, right, when it comes to composition. So if we're going to frame a subject in the 25 millimeter field of view and talk about depth and arranging elements in the scene, I'm thinking out loud. Sorry. I think that would work best, but I'm going to do some more, do my usual due diligence and watch a lot of videos about the 25 or 50 millimeter focal length and sort of compare what their thoughts are with what my thinking is, and see if there's something I'm missing or things that they're missing, right? Like they didn't address maybe this perspective. Because I really liked, I watched a couple of Robin Wong's videos recently, and they're not new, but he was looking at the 40 millimeter focal length, and and then he made the obvious comparisons to the the Olympus 25 and the Olympus 20 millimeter, right? And the 17. So he was saying that, it's tighter than the 17, but wider than the 25, and he didn't like it. He liked 25 or 17, but he didn't like this 40, or I should say 20, because I'm mixing Micro Four Third lenses with full frame lenses. He had a full frame 40 millimeter, which would be a 20 millimeter equivalent. So if we look at it this way, 17, 20, 25, he doesn't like the 20. He wants 17 or 25, and he prefers the 25. And I think I get it. The 20 millimeter, okay. So I don't know how true this is, and this is something I have to research, right? But it has been practiced forever, for as long as there's been photography, I suppose. But the diagonal of the sensor has to match the focal length of the lens to get a perfectly undistorted image, right? Meaning nothing on the sensor is going to be stretched or pulled or squeezed. So what I mean by that, like a 12 millimeter lens stretches the corners and squeezes the center, and then a 45 millimeter lens basically compresses everything, right, in the field of view and magnifies things in the background because they're much wider or much smaller than the actual sensor size relative to the focal length. And the diameter of the Micro Four Thirds sensor is 21 point something millimeters. So the 20 millimeter lens is almost perfect, right? Assuming all of this is true, but this is what I'm digging into now. The 20 millimeter lens matches the Micro Four Thirds sensor perfectly, which is seems, which might give some clue as to why one of the first prime lenses from Panasonic was a 20 millimeter f1.7. So that's what's been spinning in my head these days, right? When I started using 25 millimeter, I started looking into other videos and things of people that use this particular focal length or field of view, and all of these different perspectives of why came into play. There's some famous photographers that, in history that I can't remember their names, but they loved the 50 millimeter focal length just for that reason, because it didn't change your perspective from what you saw with your eyes versus what you captured with the camera. And that may be why I'm sort of leaning towards the 25 now for my favorite prime lens in terms of just general shooting. Okay. Let me catch up on the chat. It's a good group here. Hi, everyone. So we have, wow, there's a lot going on here. John Yutse, Plato, good to see everyone. And Chan is here. John Allen, Randy, awesome. It's always early for Randy, right? It's like 7 a.m. over there. And Lasse, good to see you. Andrew Galloway. Music Sound Gear. Wow. System Mature. Music Sound Gear is always watching from work. I appreciate that, though. And Marco, good morning. Wow. Simon Robbins. Wow, that's a new name. Maybe not. That looks kind of familiar, actually. And Wally, yep, good to see you. Oh, there's a question here from Wally, looks like. Let me try and get to that. Oh, crap. I need my... Nope. This is for... I have to tell you a funny story about these glasses. These should be good for this particular monitor. Except that they're filthy. plastic. You know, these are dollar store reading glasses, so these plastic lenses tend to get fingerprints all the time. All right, Wally, I'm going to try and read your question here. What weather sealed compact camera with a viewfinder which can shoot RAW, minimum 28 millimeter, ideally with easy control of focus point and aperture, would you recommend? Okay, I think Panasonic Lumix has a weather sealed like tough camera, and I'm pretty sure that has a viewfinder. Let me get out of full screen mode here. Let's look at that one. And it has a zoom lens in it, I believe, so you can uh, let's get the right monitor. Capture. Yeah, there we go. Panasonic Lumix. I don't know if they call it the tough camera or not. But I'm just trying to make sure it had a viewfinder. Oh, it's not this one. Panasonic Lumix TS. Let's try again. I'm pretty sure it's the Panasonic. S30? Oh, come on. How about the maybe? No. Damn it. Camera. I thought for sure it was a Panasonic. All right, this is. Tough camera with finder. This might be it. Was it a Nikon? Okay, I got it confused. Nikon Coolpix. Wow, it's it's old though. Damn it. All right, sorry, Wally. I don't remember which one it was. I thought for sure it was the Panasonic. My mistake. My mistake. None of these have the viewfinder. So Absent a little compact tough camera. Damn it! I thought. Does anybody know offhand if anybody knows? Let me check the comments. Maybe somebody made a comment about it. TS7. Okay, thank you. Let's look that up. Panasonic TS7. All right, there it is. I knew it was the Panasonic. It's a little pricey, and it's not even available here. So you'll have to shop around to find it. But of course, they don't show a picture. Here it is. I should have just checked the chat section sooner. But thank you, Adam. This one should be fine. I mean, if it's anything like the Olympus TG5, you should get perfectly fine images out of it, and it has a viewfinder. How usable that viewfinder is a tough call. There's a review by DP Review or by the Camera Store, but I remember Chris Nichols on YouTube did a review of multiple tough cameras, and this was included. And he talks about this camera at length, and all of them were pretty much the same. I mean, I'm pretty sure this one will shoot RAW also. Let's see, RAW. It doesn't say. It doesn't say it shoots RAW. Yes, 7 RAW. See if they do it. Oh, it does not capture RAW images though. So that tells me it just doesn't exist. You know, a tough camera with a viewfinder that shoots RAW. So there's no perfect camera, even in the tough camera world. The only other option might be is like, oh God, what else could there be? Tough cameras with a viewfinder. I can't think of any options. Sorry. I'm sorry, Wally. I thought that would do it, but it surprised me that it doesn't shoot RAW. So if you're going to get a tough camera, I know the TG5, TG6 is pretty awesome. And if you're familiar with Olympus cameras, the menu system you'll be able to work through, and it shoots RAW, right? And you can get the TG5 for like 200, 250 bucks, TG6 maybe 100 more. And they're both excellent cameras, but yeah, there's no viewfinder, unfortunately. Okay, so I think that's 10 minutes of everyone's life I need to give back, right? I'm sorry. And Wally says, thanks for the shutter speed videos. Oh, you're welcome. Hopefully that was helpful. What is the airspeed of an unladen? So I have no idea, but if anybody knows, you can leave it there. A question for them. But they're fast because they're so tiny. Speed swallow. Try tree swallow. 24 miles per hour. Says the airspeed velocity of a European unladen swallow is 24 miles per hour or 11 meters per second. That's really fast for something this big, right? And Uses Sound Gear says, I took off my L bracket small rig cage off my G9, and my camera seems light as a feather in comparison. I don't shoot off tripod much, so don't need it all the time. Don't shoot off a tripod much. Yeah. Yeah, I've taken the bracket off my Pen F and just use a little leather case now because I rarely put that on a tripod anymore. I just hand hold. And that's definitely, I think I talked about it last week, but that's definitely something that Olympus needs to emphasize is not having to use a tripod because of the image stabilization. I get so much flack from one of the viewers here about my knowledge of image stabilization. I mean, it's a really image stabilization is it's kind of my nemesis when it comes to trying to do a tutorial or explain it because Robin Wong and Peter and Jimmy, I'm sure have all done. I know Robin specifically did an excellent job because his video comes to mind first on image stabilization, particularly in the Olympus cameras, right? And I get the idea, right, about all the different axes, pitch, roll, yaw, etc. And then pairing that with the lens and then getting dual stabilization. I mean, the concepts don't escape me. I get it, how it works. But the different modes for IBIS, you got a panning mode for vertical or horizontal. I get the concept. You got all sensor direction, then you got full auto. And in full auto, basically it's searching on its own for panning and motion of the camera. And I mean, it all makes sense to me, but I'm not that. It would be very hard for me to just make a tutorial on it because the kind of shots that you would take to try to demonstrate the differences, because they're very, very subtle. For me to demonstrate those differences, I don't shoot even once a year. Maybe once a year, I might have an opportunity to shoot things that I could demonstrate. The different modes for image stabilization, because I have to pan objects that are moving vertically and horizontally and then do comparisons versus the other shutter modes. And then I have to be very sensitive to the shutter speed that I'm capturing at. So it would take quite a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? For me to do a competent job on image stabilization, it would take quite a bit of like a methodology, right? A very rigid methodology to be able to demonstrate the differences and advantages. And then it would be useful if I could go out in the field for a few days and practice those methodologies and the testing methodology and also the methodologies for in the field. And I just can't do it. I don't have access to those kinds of subjects where I could demonstrate that. I mean, I could probably come up with a testing methodology that would make sense, right? And be able to demonstrate, because you have to take into account shutter speed and camera motion, the panning motion, and then take into account the speed of the subject and the distance. I could come up with all that, right, to try to demonstrate that. But then once I come up with the testing methodology, where am I going to go and shoot things like that? Because one of the challenges here where I live is, like the ideal situation would be like an air show, right? And where you have fighter jets and things moving very quickly in front of you, right? And I can't do it. There's only 3 air shows this year that I have access to. I've already missed one, and the other 2 are on the same day, a few hundred miles apart. So I can't go to both, and they're not until September. So I'm going to pick the one that's here in my backyard. Fortunately, one is in my backyard this year. And they have air shows. They have military type air shows every month, a couple of times a month, but they're all over the country. And it's just prohibitively expensive for me to travel to whatever location just to go to an air show in a kind of photography that I'm not really particularly that into to begin with. Shooting military aircraft. It's not my genre. So, because I did do some research on different forums and different YouTube channels where these people shoot military craft uh, all the time, but all of them are going to air shows. One or two of them have access before and after the air show to get walkarounds of the individual airplanes and things, which was kind of neat. But that takes years of networking. I mean, this one photographer, he grew up in the Air Force. His dad was an Air Force pilot, and you know, he kind of grew up with that, and that's how he has access because he has all these connections. And the other guy, he does not have access like that. He goes to the air shows, but he does have access where he gets to get in a plane with certain pilots and go fly with them. So he has more access. But again, he's been doing that for 10 years, just that one thing. So now he has good access. When I went to look at getting access like that, it was like I had to fill out all these forms and background checks and TSA things. And I'm like, are you serious? And then you need permits, right? You need architectural permits and location permits. And then you need insurance of like millions of dollars in insurance, right? Coverage. And now, so what does that tell me? Is that just the big guys, the guys that the big companies making it seem difficult to do? Am I making it harder than it is to do? I don't know. But when I started just scratching the surface of how to get access to um, even commercial planes like Cessnas and the little private jets and things, it's like, no, you can't just walk onto the airfield and say, hey, I'm going to take a picture of your plane. They need to be your client, and again, you go through all these background checks and uh, insurance requirements and things before you can even get on the airfield. So that's what I see online. Now, in real life, right? Can I just drive to the airport? Because there's about 3 or 4 local airports. Can I just drive to the airport, park there, and walk into the front desk and say, hey, I want to take some pictures? I don't know. And they might say, yeah, go ahead, right? Maybe it'll be that simple. But on paper, when I'm doing my due diligence to do everything right, it's like, man, there's all these steps. And there is nowhere published online that I can find where you can have access to the pre-show, right, where they're doing their practice runs before they do the live show. That's just not published. I mean, you can kind of guess. Say if I go the day or two before the show, they gotta practice. But are they practicing a day or two before? Because I know this one guy, he was trying to go to the air show and go the day before so he could catch them practicing before the actual live air show, to avoid the crowds and everything. And they canceled it because it was cloudy or something. So again, these are things that are prohibitively expensive for me. I can't go a day or two ahead to an air show, pay for a hotel, because it's a couple $100 a night, right? And then shoot, never mind the travel expenses getting there. Oh, so like I said, I think if I can network a little bit and start to get some people that are pilots or work in the hangar, at that point, through that kind of networking, I might be able to get some access, and that's going to take some time. That's not like just pick up the phone and call somebody. Because I called the visitor center at Andrews Air Force Base, and they told me the same thing. You have to be sponsored and somebody on the base, and they don't have any. They have a tour, but you have to book You have to book 60 days in advance, and you have to have a minimum of 10 people, and you have to come in a single bus. You cannot come in separate cars. So yeah, I could find 10 people, get them together, at least 10, right? Get them together, but then we'd have to rent a bus so that we could all come together in one vehicle to get through the gate to attend the tour. And then once you take the tour, they don't guarantee anything that they're going to show you anything. They said the tours we're just going to drive you around, show you a few things, and then it's over in an hour. So that seems like a ton of planning and organizing just to get 1 hour access on the base, right? Never mind the expense of renting a bus. I mean, if we all chip in, it might be like less than maybe $50 a head, right? How much can it cost to rent a bus? $500 a day? Uh, it's just unbelievable. And then when you look at these videos online from the UK, it's like they publish the training schedules, when you can go out and watch the pilots training, not for air shows but for just regular pilot training. And you got these beautiful vista landscapes, and I was so impressed with that. And what's ironic is there's a lot of US military that go out there and train the the Royal Air Force as well, right? Because I think a lot of the planes they use are from the U.S. So I don't know how that works, but there's a lot of U.S. planes out there flying with them. So it's ironic. But then when I come here and I'm searching like crazy online for training schedules for new pilots and things, right? It's just not to be found. And I dug into every forum I could find that has aviation photographers. I even found an aviation photographers uh, club, national organization that was started by a couple of pilots, and they don't have access to Jack either. So maybe things are very locked down here in that sense. I don't know, but if someone could leave in the comments if they know any better, any way to get access to, just doing photography of fighter jets or any military craft. It could be A-10s, or even for right now, I'd be happy to take a picture of a C-10, like some kind of cargo plane, right? But I can't do nothing. Um, Sorry, there's a question here. Sorry, I just had to rant a little bit about it. It's a little frustrating for me because I thought it'd be kind of a fun video to go out and just shoot some planes and some military craft, but I can't get it. John Thomas says, I've updated the firmware on the EM1 Mark III. It said it can do focus stacking with a 40 to 150, but not working. Uh, when you say it's not working, I think they're referring to the 40 to 150 f4 lens, right? Because that recently came out, but let me double check. Because there's three 40 to 150 lenses in the Olympus lineup. So if you have the wrong lens, it's not going to work. That would be the only thing I can add to the conversation in that respect. So yeah, the 40 to 150 f4 Pro focus stacking. So it has to be the 40 to 150 f4 Pro. If it's the 40 to 150 kit lens, yeah, that's not happening. And I think the 40 to 150 f2.8 works with focus stacking, but I'm not sure. Olympus focus stacking lenses. Let's see. Yeah, so the 40 to 150 f2.8 Pro and the 40 to 150 Pro should be compatible. Not the 40 to 150 kit lens that I use. That's the only one I have. And that's the only thing I can think of. And the firmware is 1.5, firmware version 1.5 that supports the newer lens. Okay. Oh, Ed Krisiak is here. Good to see you. And Andrew, Assistant Matura. Adam Favre. Good morning. Okay. 8-bit Ed has a question. 300 f4 versus the 100 400, half the price but light, more reach, somewhat for birds, because is it worth it the extra money for a normal person? I like the reach, but higher ISOs are scary. For a normal person, 100 to 400 is fine. My buddy David Crooks uses it and gets fantastic results. And don't be afraid of the ISO. Yeah, you're going to double your ISO because it's at least a full stop difference between the two lenses. But that 100 to 400 is actually a very, very sharp lens. So when you have a sharp lens, you can kind of creep into higher ISOs and recover detail with software. So you're going to need uh, noise processing software to help you out. And I found actually Topaz Sharpen works really well at reducing noise. You don't need the Topaz denoise, but the Topaz Sharpen works really well at denoising to some extent and also sharpening the image at high ISOs. So, yeah, if you for regular stuff, I think you're fine with the 100 to 400. That said, I had the same choice you did a couple of months back, right? Do I get the 300 or the 100 to 400? And I went with the 300 f4 because, yeah, that extra stop of light can make all the difference in some shots, particularly when the light starts to drop. And the 300 f4 is definitely sharper, in every way, shape, and form. It's definitely a sharper lens. So you're getting what you pay for in the difference in price. The 300 is definitely, it's a faster lens, it's a sharper lens. It's faster in terms of autofocusing, as far as I know, because I think it's compatible with the 50 frame per seconds on the OM1. If you have the M1 Mark III, it doesn't matter. And I don't think you'll have you will not be disappointed with the 100 to 400. If you're doing birding all the time, like when I bought the OM1, I went crazy with birds in flight photography. And I was just using the El Cheapo 75 to 300. And because the autofocus and everything was so good on that camera with birds, I opted for the 300 f4 for two reasons other than the lens itself. Well, one reason other than the lens itself. One, mainly because I had a bunch of stuff I could trade in and pay for most of it. I only had to pay about $800 out of pocket to get it. Everything else was old gear that I really wasn't using anymore that I traded in to buy it. If it were not for that, if I didn't have other gear I could trade in to pay for most of that 300 millimeter, I would have got the 100 to 400 and I would probably still be happy as a peach. But that was the only reason I was able to get that 300 f4 is because I had a bunch of crap I could trade in. And ironically, I traded in mostly film cameras. They've just gone up in value so much that but I have plenty of film cameras that I like already. I really like the ones I sold. I kind of miss them a little, but I like the 300 millimeter f4 even more. So I had to make that choice, right? And that's the only reason I got the 300 f4. Otherwise, I'd be there with you. thinking, is it worth to spend $3,000 versus 1,500, right? And if I didn't have that trade-in value stuff, I'd be like, I think I'll get the 100 to 400. I was this close. I was this close to getting the 100 to 400. And then I started putting all my stuff together and working out the math. And I said, if I trade these 5 or 6 things in, I can get most of the 300 paid for. And that's what I did. And then one other thing the 300 is really good at is the image stabilization is much better than it is on the 100 to 400. That said, if you're shooting at 3,000th of a second, image stabilization is really not a concern. Excuse me. It's not a concern anyway. But if you get the 100 to 300, I've seen so many fantastic images with that lens. And a lot of the noise and detail was all mitigated. I'm sure people use Topaz Sharpen AI. So use the money you save buying the 100 to 400 and get Topaz Sharpen AI. I use primarily DxO Photolab 5 Elite, which has the deep prime for noise reduction. So what I do now is I denoise it using the deep prime, add a little bit of detail, then take it over to Topaz Sharpen and sharpen it up a little more. So that's kind of my workflow now, is to edit and denoise in Photolab 5. I do all of the most of the editing, the crop, the brightness, the shadows, highlights, and denoise in Photolab 5. And then I carry that over to Topaz Sharpen AI just to give it a little bit more bite, than I could get with Photolab 5 alone. And I think your money would be better spent that way. And then you'll probably be like 99% of the way there with the 100 to 400 at half the cost. Okay. I look like Gil Grissom. I have no idea who that is. I have to look this up. Gil Grissom. William. Well, let's just try Gil Grissom. Gil Grissom. Doesn't look like him at all. Where's my screen? I don't have a beard. Let's see. Is there any beardless shots? I'm flattered. Those are pretty, he looks like I don't know, but he looks like a good looking guy. Oh, maybe this shot. Maybe this shot is what you're talking about. Yeah, the glasses are pretty close. I get that. Hold on. I need some orange and teal. So I got blue behind me, so I need some more orange in front of me here. So I have an LED light. This is mandatory if you have a YouTube channel, apparently. Let's see. If I go to, how come the Kelvin's not changing? There we go. I want orange. Is that orange enough? Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I got to get a blue background. Damn it. No. Okay, we'll use a spaceship. How's that? That's kind of blue. Turn off that light. Now it's darker. Put my glasses on. A little bit too orange. Hold on. trying to match that color. All right. Gonna prop this up. Well, his light's coming more from down here. All right, tuck my collar. See if I can stand this up over here without breaking anything. I really need a blue background though, with a hot chick in it. How come I don't have one? How about this one? This is close. That's not bad. Maybe a little less intensity on this. Right there. And what's he doing? It's a tight shot. Okay. So that's the shot I'm trying to replicate. Let's see what I look like here. He's got a little bit of a frown. What do you think? Pretty close, huh? Maybe in a little bit more. Okay. Like it's almost like he's reading a book or something. All right. Anyway, I don't. Thanks. I'm flattered. Let me turn my light back on. All right. And Keith Rogers, hello. Yeah, the LX100K is not a tough camera. This was in reference to. Anyway, I'll skip that because we've already kind of answered that one. And yeah, so on the TS7, it looks like 8-bit Ed, even at $224, maybe is what Adam's saying. He found it for $224. But that Panasonic TS7, let me turn off this thing. I'm gonna. Actually, I kind of liked how that looked. Up my production value here. But it's a pain in the ass because I got this blinding light in my eye now. Anyway, I got to turn that off. Nobody cares how I look, right? I mean, I always try to wear at least a shirt with a collar with buttons, but and comb my hair somewhat. Yeah, that's right. If anybody asks me questions, I try to do my best, even though it takes a while sometimes. Because you always get questions that are like kind of out there, like things I never do, but then suddenly somebody asks me something. I'm like, well, okay, what would I do if I were in your shoes? Even though I know nothing about this, but at least I have, some experience, right, that I can add to the conversation of on this kind of equipment, photography related anyway. And a three-legged thing tripod. I don't know what that is. If it's anything like this, I think it's like something similar to this, right? Where you can kind of bend things. I've used it once to hold a flash upside down. on a tree branch so I could do some flash photography. Other than that, I've never used it. I guess some vloggers they like to bend it, and I think I saw Peter McKinnon or somebody doing, not Peter, Casey Nice, whatever his name, I can't remember. He would bend it and hold it like that. That was a Joby though. Three-legged thing. I don't know what that is. But if it's like this, I didn't use it very much myself. But I keep it there right in plain sight so that if I think of something to use it for, I won't forget that I have one. I got so much junk. It's just not even funny. I should do a video on junk I never use but just won't get rid of. Oh, Randy. Yeah, Randy's near where they practice. Yeah. I'm near Andrews Air Force Base, so when the Blue Angels come by and practice, I can see them in my backyard. But it's very congested here. So I have to go out to, and I don't think I'll go out to the parking lots and the malls and things that are around here where I might get a clearer view because it's just ghetto. I mean, ghetto is not the right word, but they're like last month there's somebody got killed and stabbed because there was a fight of like 100 people out in the parking lot. I, I'm not doing anything around here that would put me in a position photographically that I could see things clear when the Blue Angels are practicing, because there's not any place really that I would feel safe at. I'd have to think. Maybe if I can get on base when they're practicing with my mom, because my mom can get on base no problem. But yeah, the mock loop. If you guys Google or search on YouTube the mock loop, that's pretty amazing. That video. There's the Star Wars loop. I never heard of such a thing. Star Wars loop. Of course, I got to think of something to add to this. I don't know, fighter jets. So that I don't get like a bunch of Star Wars things. Here we go. Oh, this is interesting. But where is this? Death Valley. Okay, that's the US. Well, heck, all right, I'm going to save this search. Huh. But man, where is Death Valley? I don't think I can get there. Death Valley. Directions. Oh my God, that's way out in frickin' California. 38-hour drive. Forget it. Uh, wow. Wow. Yeah, there's no way I can get there. But thanks, Randy. I appreciate that. Now I know. Now I know where I can go and get similar shots like the mock loop. I'll have to look into that more. And this kind of goes back to the 40 to 150 question. You can focus bracket with any lens, but to do stacking in camera, you have to use a specific lens. So yeah, I should have clarified that earlier on. So thanks for reminding me on that. Yeah, here's another person. Sis Mature likes topaz sharpening. It is really good. I'll have to do a video on it. I'm Johnny come lately, right? Because everybody's been using topaz sharpen forever. And then I only started using it recently since I got the OM1 because Photolab 5 didn't support the OM1 originally. So I used it and it did a fine job. Mr. Orange says, if I had a Fuji 1680 f4, is that necessary to buy the 10 to 20? Oh, okay. Well, let's just talk about the focal length, right? Um, I would not buy a 10 to 20 f4 because all you need to do is take two shots and stitch a panel together, right? To get the same field of view with your 16 to 80. If you need to take many shots, if you're going to be shooting at 10 millimeters all the time, then yeah, buy it. You'll get your money's worth. So, for example, in my real estate photography, commercial photography, architectural photography, I need a wide angle lens and capture things in a single shot for my workflow because I can't be stitching, hundreds of images together when I get home. So I take single shots with a wide angle lens. Uh, so I was able to justify buying a wide angle lens. But when I'm in the field just doing my personal stuff and my lens isn't quite wide enough, I just take two shots and stitch them together if I want a wider field of view. And that works really well if you only need to do it occasionally, right? But 10 millimeters is a 15 millimeter equivalent, which is, yeah, that's pretty wide, 10 to 24. So if you're talking about real estate photography, yes, definitely get it. Okay. If you're doing interiors all the time, whether you're in business or not, if you're going to cathedrals and um, anywhere you need, you're in tight spaces or wide open spaces indoors, a wide angle lens is really handy, getting it in a single shot. But if you're just doing it occasionally for landscapes and outdoorsy stuff, just take a couple of shots with the 16 and stitch them together in post. That would be my advice. So I guarantee that. Let me look how much that is. I bet that's an expensive ass lens. Fuji 10 to 24. $800 used. Crap. $500 used. Brand new 900. So is it worth $500 to $900 to you basically to have that lens if you're doing interior shots all the time where you need a wide focal length to get everything in the room in a single shot? Definitely. Wide angle lenses are really good for indoor photography because a lot of times it's very tight and you don't have room to back up. But for outdoor photography, most of the time you have room to back up, zoom with your feet, right? Just take a couple of shots and stitch them together, and you can get the same field of view as a 10 millimeter. Okay. This is back when I was doing the shots, grow a beard. I do have a shot of me with a beard, but the beard was in Photoshop, not real life. I wonder if I can pull that up because it's funny. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Uh, I know I can pull it up quickly. It's on my other Instagram account here. Yeah. I thought this was a cool shot. It's a lot of editing. But this was how many years ago? 354 weeks. So it's, wow, like 6 years ago. Anyway, it's in here. Oh, yeah, my younger days. Man about town. There it is. That's me with a beard. I should have put a blue background. When was this taken? 394 weeks. Wow, what is that? 394 divided by 52. 7.5 years ago. Holy crap. That's crazy. Everybody that saw this hated it. This was way back when I was a Nikon shooter and going out partying. Here's my nerd. This is me as a nerd at a small school I used to counsel at. Oh, my buddy Riley. Oh, I did do some birds in flight a little bit. This is Lake Akatink. Well, not birds in flight, but birds. Okay, that's enough of that. I don't want to bore you guys with like my family album or whatever, right? Family or photo albums. Like when you go to somebody's house and it's like it's kind of like a given. Like they want to show you their photo album, and you're like, oh, please God, no, not the photo album. um, oh, it's closed, so you can't do the Star Wars loop anymore. All right, not that I could get there, but yeah, video IBIS 1 versus IBIS 2. So the idea that somebody gave me was to invite an Olympus guy on that could talk about it competently, right? So I could have him as a special guest, him or her, I should say, as a special guest. And but we'll see. I'm going to reach out to the one person I do know. It's like 6 degrees of separation, right? Eventually he knows somebody, they know somebody, and then I'll get to somebody that really knows what they're talking about. Maybe the first person does. I don't know. But usually you have to dig down to get to somebody. Because, when I was researching IBIS, I got down to the parts that were used to develop, the little SMC chips, surface mount chips that have the gyros built in. It's really interesting technology. And I believe it was built by NEC, these chips that are used in the Olympus cameras. And Olympus apparently had a license for a year or two. So that's why nobody else had 6 stops of stabilization, right? Like the EM1 Mark II came out with 6 stops or something, and nobody else had that at the time. It was the best. And now now that license is run out, you can buy these SMC chips with the gyros and other sensors. There's motion sensors, there's gyros, gyroscopic, and then there's inertia SMC chips. I mean, there's a lot of different chips that make up the IBIS system. And now you see a lot of cameras with like claiming 6 stops of stabilization, but you can't overcome the physics of a larger sensor versus a smaller sensor. So even though they claim the 6 stops of stabilization, in practice it's not as good because of just the pure physics of a larger sensor and the energy it takes to move that thing around. Like I said, it's very complicated. I mean, I kind of got into the weeds about it a year ago, thinking I could do a video on image stabilization. But then when I started getting into the research and developing some methodology, it occurred to me I got nothing to take a picture of that's going to fly or do anything that I could demonstrate how all this works, right? It would just be a pure academic discussion. And I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm not like an academic. I don't want to just come on and lecture about all of this technology and then not show you any pictures. That would be such a waste of time. And, in my opinion. Um, Anyhow, let me see. Ooh, wow. So 1,500 feet above ground level restrictions. So as of March, so they're not doing it anymore. Anyway, so I don't need to go then. Here's something about the 10 to 24. It says, I still have the Fuji 10 to 24. If you need an extra wide to get 10 to 24, nice lens and really wide. If you need to reach, get the 16 to 80. Yeah. I mean, that's the general advice, right? I mean, generally good advice. If you need the reach, keep the 16 to 80. It's very little need to have both. Unless, like I said, you need to all the time get 10 millimeters. And then here's some additional information. Version 1 of the 10 to 24 is not waterproof. Version 2 is waterproof. So I forget who was asking about that, but Ed Krisiak has some experience with it. Yeah, I look a lot different with a beard, right? When I took that picture, I think I already started to grow a little bit of stubble. So I said, what would this look like if I fill it out, completely? And anyway, it was a no-go. Nobody liked it. And at the time I was, 7 years ago, what was I? I wasn't really going out about town, but I was still conscious of, dating and things. I haven't had a girlfriend. Well, anyway, it's been a long time for Uncle Rob, let me tell you. So if you see me on the street walking funny, right, that's why. uh Jose is asking, have I had any issues with the OM1? I had to send it back and get a refund. The camera just shut down and wouldn't turn on again. I ordered from Adorama. I have to wait since it's on back order. Yeah, I had that same problem initially. Extremely rare. I think out of hundreds of thousands of photos that I took, and that's all pro capture stuff, so it's not really hundreds of thousands. But I took a lot of pictures, and maybe 3 times, maybe 4. I mean, I can count on one hand how many times the camera froze up and it shut down one time on me, just like you said. Most of the time, it would just freeze up. And so let's say it happened 4 times. One time it actually shut down on me, just like you're talking about. The other 3 times, it froze on me. And one time I removed the battery. The second time I removed the battery. The third time it happened to me, I removed the lens and put it back on and it unlocked. And then everything was fine. Supposedly that has been fixed. This freezing thing has been fixed with the new firmware update. So if the shutting down and the freezing are in the same train, right, or chain of events, because you know how computer software is, you got all these things are interlinked together. So if the freezing and the shutdown are in the same chain of events in the software, then it's been 100% fixed. Because honestly, I haven't had any issues since the firmware update, and that was a couple of weeks ago, right? I haven't had any issues at all. Certainly not shutting down. It happened once, but I think it was related to the freezing problem. And the freezing problem has been fixed. I can confirm that And I've taken tens of thousands of images since then. Time will tell, right? I mean, it's still early. Like 3 months from now, if it happens, that's a problem. But for now, I'm not having any issues. Oh, everything's canceled, huh? They used to shoot live music in the summer. Oh, yeah, things are crazy. They had an event in DC the other night, and somebody just started shooting in a crowd of hundreds of people. It's just unbelievable. I'm just looking at the chat. I haven't frozen up. I'm really good at standing still, right? Like you might think the chat is frozen, but that's from like practicing self portraits all the time for these tutorials. I got really good at just not moving at all. Oh, so Randy says the Randy says the Star Wars loop is about 8 hours away from him. I would do an 8 hour trip for something like that. Uh, and that's kind of my limit for long drives anymore. I mean, I used to do 16 to 20 hour drives all the time back when I was in my 30s, you know, driving down to Florida all the time, but I can't do that anymore. 5 to 8 hours, that window is really near my limit. I have to be If it's going to be like 8 hours, I definitely have to have a hotel reserved so that 8 hours, I know I got something to look forward to. If it's less than 5 hours, usually I just wing it and find something when I get there, right? But yeah, an 8 hour trip, I'd have to have it, I'd have to have something lined up before I head out. Oh, Ed says the three-legged thing. I should have just looked it up instead of, pulling that other tripod out of my butt, you know? And that's what happens, right? When people bring things up that I'm not familiar with, I shouldn't just uh just pull things out of my butt and say, well, if it's like this, because then I'm just wasting everyone's time. So I'm sorry about that. But at least now you know that this is in my bag. This is hardly ever in my bag. That's all you know. But you don't know anything about a three-legged thing from this stream. So I got to get better at that. I do that time to time. Not time. It's rare, but sometimes I pull something out of my butt like this and talk about things I don't know about. I try not to do that, but I did that today, just so you know. Yes, I saw this review. That's a great lens, 9mm f1.7. If Micro Four Nerd says it's good, in my opinion. She doesn't have to get all technical. I saw another review that was more technical, right? Pixel peeping and stuff. And at these price points, I don't expect the lens to be perfect, right? It's not perfect. It's a great lens, but it's not perfect. There is some minor bit of softness, vignetting, and aberrations in the very corners. But $500, come on, uh, you can't ask for more than what that lens is delivering. Okay. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say I pulled it out of my butt. Oh my God. Yeah, 8 hours is an overnighter. Definitely, like I said, I'd have to have a hotel lined up. A 4 to 5 hour trip, I could think about coming back home the same day. And I've done that. I'll drive out 4 or 5 hours, come back the same night. Might be 2 in the morning, but then I can sleep in my own bed, right? But 8 hours, that ain't happening in a single day. Mm. Oops, I'm seeing something here. Adam says following up on my video glitches on OM fixed by. Oh, that's right. We were talking about you saying it was sticking, right, last week. So fixed it by turning off the digital stabilizer. Okay, good. However, the M1 Mark III had zero issues having both sensor and digital stab on the Cinema 4K, hoping a firm. Well, that's interesting. Now they said they improved the stabilization on the OM1, even if just slightly. So they might need to work the algorithm out a bit more, right? Because they use the same stabilization on the EM1 Mark II and EM1 Mark III, but the OM1 supposedly is a little bit different, and they need to work out the algorithm. So yeah, a firmware update could potentially do it. I agree. I've never compared them though side by side. But what focal length were you using, by the way? I mean, I could test it at 12 millimeters or 7 millimeters. I mean, I have everything, but uh, I don't have everything. But I have the focal range covered, right? I have almost all the focal ranges covered. I have a little bit of a gap between. Um, no, I got everything covered. Yeah, I have every focal range covered. I don't have the best lens for the various focal lengths, but I have every focal length covered. Um, I have to get this close. I'm going to get a crick in my neck. I don't know why I'm leaning over. I can just move the screen closer, right? Duh. Ugh. Oh, that's much better. Oh, damn. Now it needs to be higher. Oh, well, anyway. This is a great little monitor. I love this thing. Just plugs into the USB-C port. It doesn't need its own separate power supply. It's actually a pen tablet that I do my videos with. If you see me writing on my videos, it's this tablet here. Not that you can see it. Let's do a behind the scenes shot. We got batteries in here? Yeah. We have batteries. So I need to go wide. All right. Don't need to see my floor, just my desk, right? All right. There we go. Oh, it's too dark. That's darker. There. Yeah, this is the tablet I use, right? When I'm drawing. Oops. I don't want to end the chat by mistake. This is my mic, obviously. So my little video switcher here. So when I'm switching cameras, this is what I use. When I'm switching screens, I just do it in the software. This is the LED light that I was using earlier. RGB. Yeah, that's right. I'm hip now. Okay. The 12 to 40 2.8. Okay, Adam, I got it. I can try it with the 12 to 40. But originally I had this monitor like all the way over here. If I just move it here, it's still not in frame, and I can see it without breaking my neck. Matter of fact, let's just chill, man. I can read it if I lean all the way back. Of course, you can't hear me. Move the mic closer. How does that sound? I'm just being annoying. I'm sorry. And Mark Wolf says, oh, Tony B has a question. Where do you post your images? Oh, he's asking somebody else. Nobody cares where I post my images, right? And Mark Wolf says, please do a tutorial, free Lightroom presets on how to make our shots look like they're film shots. Oh, you know, you don't need to buy a preset. You have to have good lighting, basically, and the right and frame and compose everything right? So there's a guy with a very similar stage name as you, or whatever you call your name, Mark Wolf. His name is Wolf Crow. He does an excellent job of showing you how to get like very cinematic looks. It's mainly for video, but it's exactly the same for photography, framing and getting cinematic looks. But he's just doing it for video. But if you do it for photography, there's no difference. The lighting's the same. The only thing that'll be different are the settings. Your camera settings will be different than it would be for video. Because video, you're a lot more restricted. And it's basically about getting the colors right? Like I just adjusted this to the right temperature Kelvin, then put a blue background, and I'm like 90% there. At least I thought that shot looked pretty good. The little screen that I did when I was doing that. Wolf Crow, CROW. Check out his channel. He does an awesome job for cinematography stuff. But I don't use Lightroom presets. I make a couple of presets for myself for my architectural stuff, but that has really nothing to do with lighting or settings or anything so much. They're just very minor tweaks and adjustments. But these hardcore Lightroom presets that I see a lot of people sell, Fropack, right? The Fropack, he's selling those all the time. He has a set. I don't know what they cost. But you don't need to do that. It's easy enough for you to do it yourself, right? In Lightroom. Just play with the sliders, you'll get there. Watch a few tutorials. I thought I saw something here about the OM5. I haven't heard anything about the OM5 lately. I think it's supposed to be announced next month, though, right? Let's see if 43 Rumors. 43 Rumors says they're going to stop taking pre-orders for that. $7,500. That's just insane. The new king of travel, the 4150 f4 Pro is nice. I keep looking at that lens. I'm half tempted to get it. But then I'm trying to think of a use case that it would be better than my little plastic 40 to 150 that I use now. Because that lens does a good job. I mean, I know it's not going to be as good as that, but for my use case, I just don't need a tack sharp lens. They got Peter's video up on the 17. Gosh, that's got to be old. That can't be new. Let's see when that was. And I'm talking old in YouTube world, right? He made this video, 8 days ago. 7 days. It hasn't been that long. I haven't watched it. I'll have to watch this. That's cool. Okay. All right, Peter. You piqued my interest. I mean, I haven't seen this video yet, but yeah, it's still worth getting. It's a great lens. I mean, 17 is 17, and it's pretty sharp. Has the focus clutch, and it's made better than the 25. The 25 is all plastic. I don't like that. But the 17 is metal. I like this, the metal of the 17. So yeah. Why did I pull that video up? Oh, we were looking at 43 rumors. So they got nothing on the OM5. Oh, here's something. June 21st. And camera will ship in October. Any comments? 22 comments. Let's see what these are. All right. It's just the usual crap here. Nobody knows nothing. Oh, all right. So it is what it is. When it comes out, it comes out. I wonder if Peter and Jimmy well, it's just Peter and Jimmy now, right? I wonder if they have the camera, like a pre-production model. Maybe they'll get it later. They won't tell me if they have it. I'm not an ambassador or anything. But oh, fuck, now I can't see the screen. If I click here, click that, okay. Just going through the chat. Oh, here's one. Having deep prime, have you tried exposing to the left? Have a great day and thanks. I wouldn't recommend it. No, I haven't tried it specifically. I mean, I could probably find plenty of images where I've underexposed things, and it helps. But deep prime is really good at working with normal type noise, not noise that's crushed all the way into the shadows on the left side of the histogram. And that's going to be true for any denoising program. You just can't make stuff up in the shadow area. If the information is not there, it's not going to be able to recover any of that. And so you really need to have a decent exposure, even if it's high ISO with a lot of noise. If the exposure is correct, Deep Prime does an awesome job. But when you start underexposing things to the left, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You're just going to get noise. I mean, it'll be cleaned up, but you're not going to have any details or anything worth using in the image when you have things exposed on the far left. So when you're approaching a scene and you have to expose to the left to keep the highlights, at that point you need to start bracketing, right? So that you don't have to expose to the left, because that's a problem. Exposing to the left, there's not very little information there, digitally speaking, and there's a lot of noise. So Deep Prime, I don't even have to test it. I know it's going to struggle, just because it's the idea of garbage in, garbage out. But when you have something exposed correctly, particularly if you're exposing to the right, you have a lot of data that Deep Prime can work with and apply all of its AI algorithms to bring out a lot of detail and crush the noise, but not in the left side of the histogram. So try to avoid it if you can. And don't expect miracles if you do have to try to recover with deep prime something exposed on the left. It's not going to be good. Yeah, Lauren says it seems sharp in the center, less so on the edges. Yeah, you have to stop it down. I found if I stop it down to about f4, it's about as sharp as I'll ever want. Wide open, yeah, it's a little soft in the corners. It's a little soft overall, my particular copy. And there's always going to be variances in copies. And mine is a little bit soft, wide open. I'll have to check it again, but if I remember correctly, it is a little soft, wide open, particularly in the corners. But I usually shoot it at f4, f5, 6 anyway, because I like a deeper depth of field because it's a wide angle lens. You're trying to capture the environment. So I think for the usual purposes of that lens and focal length, it's really a great lens. Because 17 millimeters, you want that deeper depth of field, and you want so you're going to shoot at f4, f5, 6, so you can capture the environment together with your subject. It's not a shallow depth of field lens, so stopping it down to or stopping it up, I should say, to 1.8, you'll get a little bit more depth of field, shallow depth of field, but not that much, some. And then you get soft corners, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I would agree with this statement, at least with my copy. I'm sure there's other copies that do better. But oh my goodness, Robin Wong rolled in. How you doing, Robin? I always forget to mention there's a link down below where you guys can just jump in if you want to join me live. I mean, I'm almost done now, but I'll stay on a little longer if you guys want to come on. Robin Wong, I was talking about you earlier because I was telling you about, I was watching your video when you were shooting at the 40 millimeter focal length. And I was, I told him that I watched that video because I'm really into the 25 millimeter, kind of like yourself. I really like the 25 now. And I was trying to do some research on why. Anyway, long story short, 25 millimeter rocks, I think, is a great focal length. I would probably enjoy 40 millimeter just as much, though. I think I would. I mean, if they didn't sell a 25 millimeter, I would get a 20 millimeter. Like the 20 millimeter Panasonic f1.7, that's on my short list. Maybe I'll go get one today. That's on my short list. And it has been forever. Ever since I bought my Pen F, that 20 millimeter f1.7 for the last 6 years has been on my short list. But what have I done? I bought a 300 f4. Like the exact opposite of a 20 millimeter f1.7. I think that would be a great lens for Micro Four Thirds, that 20 millimeter focal length. But I do like the 25 a lot. And that's why would I buy a 20 if I have a 25? That's the question, other than to get that nice pancake size. So if you think about anything long enough, you can justify any purchase on anything on this earth, right? If I want a Lamborghini, if I could afford it, I could justify it. So a 20 millimeter lens, I can justify at $200. At $300 brand new, I'd have to trade something in. Maybe I'll trade in my 17. I don't know. That would be stupid. But I really like I never heard it before until I watched your video, Robin, where you said that the 17 is like both eyes and the 50 millimeters like, or the 25, I should say, is like seeing things with one eye. That's pretty close, actually. I guess you heard it from somewhere, but I never heard it before until I watched your video about this one eye, two eye thing. 17 millimeters like two eyes, 50, 25 millimeters like one. So that was, yeah, that actually is pretty close. 25 is a little bit tighter, but even the human eye, the corners of our vision are blurry, and we only our sharpest focus, even with our human eyes, are very much like actual lenses. In the center, our focus is as sharp as it's ever going to be in the center. And then as our peripheral vision goes out, things get less in focus. There's vignetting. Our eyes are not much different than actual lenses, um, in most cases. Oh, you can't remember that? um, yeah, I'm with you, right? I have the 25, 1.7, 1.8, but I don't have a 21. The 21.7 would be kind of just if you want to just have like a really compact, because it's a pancake lens. Because look at the size of this thing. I mean, it's not pancake. The lens hood is like pancake. So if I put the lens hood on front of this would be let me try and show. This would be like the 20 millimeter f1.7, right? Something like this. But the real 25 is more like this. It's not much difference. I know it's stupid, right? Why should I buy a 21.7? It is tough to justify, even if I could talk myself into the pancake life, right? Because there's people, right? They have a life, right? They have laptop life. They only buy laptops. Like me, I'm a laptop guy. I bet there's photographers out there. They live the pancake life. They only use pancake lenses. I guarantee. If there isn't a club for pancake users, I'd be surprised. But if there isn't, maybe I could start one. The pancake life. And Tony's been using the 12 to 50. Yeah, Robin just did a video on that. Maybe that's why you're bringing it up, right? Because it's kind of random. I have the 12 to 50. Oh, well, that's because Robin just did a video on that. I've never gotten that lens. I'm content with the 14 to 42. Ooh, Music Sound Gear had waffles, and Lauren is uh it's a 9 millimeter pancake, isn't it? Not 8. It's a 9 millimeter pancake. I busted mine. It's not useless, but the focus ring is totally broken. The whole front cover's off. I gotta shoot with my Ollie Air. I can put the 15 millimeter pancake on it. That would be kind of cool. Let's see what that looks like. Where's my Ollie Air? What's this? It used to be right here. Oh. Here it is. I wanted to bring this out because Robin Wong has a video on this. So does Peter, actually. But Robin, I think you got like 1 million views on your Olympus Air video. I just can't believe 1 million views for. All right, I don't want to say 1 million. Let's look it up. Where's my window? I don't have one, so let me add a window. Let's see, Robin Wong Air. Where's my 900,000? Okay. So 900,000 views on this camera. I just can't believe it. Like if I just post a picture of this, I should get at least 10,000 views. And if I do a video, maybe 100,000 views. But watch what happens. If I make a video on this, I'll probably get like 100 views. Nobody's going to care if I do it. But somehow Robin got 1,000,000 views on this. I don't know how. Well, I know how, because Robin is awesome. But still. So where's my 15mm pancake here? I got things laying around everywhere on my desk. Look at that. Look how small that is. Is it going to focus? I'm using the EM10 Mark II for my stream. But yeah, this is no bigger than my 25mm lens, right? And this has got a 15mm on it. And I can just take pictures with this. I don't need to attach it to a phone. I can just point and shoot. Literally. Can't see nothing. But oh, lens cap was on. The lens has a lens cap on it. It's like, how do you explain that? This is a body cap lens with a lens cap. That's anyway. Yeah, that's pretty slick. But that's what the 9mm body cap lens, that's how this would look. I could probably take this thing off. Well, I don't want to break it. I haven't really hardly used it. 900,000 views. You could take my whole channel. I don't think I got 900,000 views. Actually, that's not true. Somebody told me I had 3 million views or something on my channel, which is shocking to me. 3 million. 3 million people like clicked on one of my thumbnails. Doesn't mean they watched anything. It just means they clicked on my thumbnail. They could have got 5 seconds in and said, screw it, Oh, now I can't see the screen. Now it's too close without my glasses. Ugh. Rob, if you did an Air video and talked about what you changed with the Air 2 and referenced the future without copying Robin, it would do well. It would be such a ripoff of Robin's video. Not that he would care, you know what I mean? We all have our own voice and can talk about the same things, but then we have our own voice and opinions and the things that we look at things, right? So but man, that would be rough though. My God, if I just titled the video the future that arrived too soon or whatever he titled it. Yeah, the future that arrived too early, Olympus Air. I could just cut and paste your description, Robin. I could cut and paste the description, the title, everything. And it's not going to get anywhere near the views you got. You know why? Because the title is going to say Rob Trek. It's not going to say Robin Wong, right? See right here, it says Robin Wong. That's why it has 900,000 views. Because it says Robin Wong. If it said Rob Trek there, 900 views. Divide that by 100,000. Or divide that by 1,000. That's how many views that video would get. Oh, this is when Casey. What else is in here? Robin Wong, 12 to 50. Yeah, 10 days ago. 10,000 views. I mean, with somebody with 50,000 or however many subscribers, that's about right. You should expect at least 10,000 views per video. If you look at mine, oh my God, it's pathetic. 500 views, 600 views, 800 views, 1.800. Yeah, 1,800 views. Wow, that's a viral video, man. 1.8, 1,800 views. I'm viral. And yeah, 800, 300. 1,300, 800, 9. I mean, come on. You really think my video would get any views at all, even if I copied it exactly? I could even download the transcript from Robin Wong's video and do exactly the same thing, and nobody would watch it. Anyhow, I'm just having fun. Oh, try to do a reset. Wow. Yeah, there'll be some nuances, right, Marco? I could do a review. What I might do instead of a review, maybe just do a photo walk with this lens and talk about it as I'm walking around. That that would be. I have to watch Robin's video again to make sure that yeah, I can add to the conversation, right? Because a lot. There's Robin, there's Peter, there's Jimmy, there's a bunch of other people that the Micro Four Thirds guy. There's a lot of people that talk about Micro Four Thirds. Thank goodness. I'm so happy to see so many Micro Four Third channels, and I watch their videos to see if I can add to the conversation, right? If I can give you a different perspective that will, like I said, show you something that maybe they didn't. And so I'll have to watch a couple videos, but maybe I'll do that. The hell, what time is it? Shit. Did I just drop an S word? I gotta watch my language. Um. Oh, Jose likes my photo walks. Thanks. Yeah, I like doing them when I have the time. Oh, the 300 F4 Pro. All right, hold on. Yeah, baby. We got the big guns now. How about that? Because the 300, this is the only lens that I have that has stabilization built in. So this is actually a good combination. Looks like a teleconverter. Anyway. Ooh. What do you guys think? I could do a video on this bad boy. I need to get a normal screen so you guys can see. What is that? Okay, the wood screen. Yeah. Look at that. And then extend the lens hood out. Oh wait, no viewfinder. Oh crap. I guess I can attach the phone too, right? Ooh, that's crazy. What if I do a photo walk with no viewfinder at all, right? Like I don't attach the phone or anything and just wing it. I would look like an idiot. Kind of like now. Like it's not, there's like no battery and I'm like pushing the button. That's how dumb I am. Okay. Oh, that's funny. That's what almost dropped it. There we go. I have to be careful, man. That's That's not a lens that I can break and be happy to get another one. Like if I ever break that, that'll be the last 300 millimeter lens I ever own. You're funny. How to shoot pro bird shots with your iPhone. Man, your brain is always working, isn't it? You always think of these cool ideas. Look at me, aperture, shutter speed. Like my videos are like so rudimentary, right? I try to do a good job, but I don't think of this kind of stuff. How to shoot professional bird shots with your iPhone. I don't have iPhone. I have an Android phone, but same difference, right? That's why Robin's channel is so great. He comes up with all these crazy ideas. I dropped something I dropped my OM1 with the 300 f4 on it, on the concrete, a couple of weeks ago. It survived. It fell off a table on my front porch, and my porch is, of course, concrete. I don't know how. I was trying to be so careful, but somehow this strap that I use caught my arm or something, and it pulled the camera off the table and hit the floor. But everything still works. So, yay Olympus, OM systems, good stuff. Very durable, no question. Thanks, Robin. I try to do a good job, but I'm not anywhere near. I don't have the same. I'm much more gregarious in person, right? I'm what you're seeing now is about 50% of what I'm like in person a lot of times. In person, I feel like I'm more gregarious and smiling and happy and having a good time. But man, when I'm making videos and I'm just staring at a lens, I mean, just imagine if you're just talking to this lens all the time. That's what we do as YouTubers, right? We just talk to the lens, right? Um, I can't see your faces. I can't like, make a joke about your hat. I don't know, just silly things, right? Um, or if we're out to breakfast and I'm or like my God, I laughed so hard. We were having lunch and I was having a milkshake or somebody was having it wasn't me. So I was probably having anyway, we were drinking milkshakes and my God, it was like we're drinking these we're drinking these really thick milkshakes and they come out with these little like plastic straws like that you use to stir your coffee and I'm like trying to suck like I mean it wasn't as small as a coffee straw but I'm trying to like suck this milkshake through this little tiny straw. And I'm like, holy crap, man, I almost popped a vein trying to drink a milkshake. Oh God. But we all had a good laugh. It's like those are good times. And I love streaming because this is about as close as we can get to to that kind of environment. But it's much more fun when you can get together with people. And that's why I love the photo clubs and things. Oh, whoops. It's like talking to people wearing, yeah, so true. So true, Lauren. It's a little rough. Yeah, I know, right? I get the look sometimes, like they look at me like, am I talking to them? And then they realize I'm talking to the camera, vlogging. But yeah, I know what you mean. You get these weird looks sometimes. Ooh, yeah, Ellie likes milkshakes. I know she likes ice cream. Man, that reminds me, I'm gonna have some ice cream today. Oof, I bought some ice cream the other day. I gotta eat it. Ooh, you dropped your EM5 Mark III. That's a with a 12 millimeter f2, and it landed on the microphone attached. The shock mounted microphone broke, took all the shock in the camera. I dropped my EM5 Mark III, and I think I was using the same lens, a 12 millimeter f2, and I busted yeah, my mic, the shock mount on my mic broke. It wasn't a shock mount. It was kind of like those Rode mics that clip in, but that broke. And I also broke the power button on my EM5 Mark III. And I sent it in for warranty repair, and they fixed the they fixed the power button. I didn't send it in for the power button. I sent it in for something else. But while I was in warranty, they repaired the thing for me, no extra charge. But the M5 Mark III, I mean, that camera is really, if I wanted to use a camera for vlogging all the time, that would be the camera. And I did use it a lot for vlogging all the time. I've since downgraded to a little GoPro size thing. Actually, Robin, you did a review on it, the Insta360, right? I just used the little, I don't use the 1 inch sensor one. I use the sensor that came with it, the little tiny sensor, right? It's good enough for what I do, you know. I don't, and I use it in full auto. I didn't try to like do shutter angle and all that stuff. You were trying to get all fancy with it. You can't do that. You got to just turn it on, put it in full auto, and record video. Then it'll be fine. It does great video. But I was watching your review on that Insta360. You hated it, and I was like, well, Robin, you're like trying to do all those fancy things for it that on paper look good, but in practice they don't know how to do that. You know, they don't know how to do that. They're not going to be good at that like Olympus or Canon or Nikon. Oh, hey, I got a call from. Hello, this is Rob. Yeah, how you doing, Jack? Good, good. That's awesome. Okay, which store are you at? Oh, in Berg. Okay. Just hang on to it. I'll come out. Save you a few bucks on shipping. Uh, um, okay, I appreciate that, Jack. Take care. Okay, bye bye. So that was District Camera. The battery for the OM1 that when you buy when you bought the OM1 like on the pre-order, they gave you a free battery, right? So they were just telling me the free batteries come in, and I can go pick it up, or they can send it to me. I said just hang on to it. I'll go pick it up. I like going to the camera store. I better see how much credit I got on my credit card before I go, so I don't like get a declined, So sorry, Mr. Rogers, your card was declined. So if I check how much I got first, right, which is it's almost maxed out as it is, but uh that's cool. Yeah, finally. You're using the DJI Action 2 now. Yeah, I saw that. That's the little square one, right? I've thought about time to time getting something smaller, but how's the battery life on something that tiny? I can't imagine it's very good. Because with my Insta360, I got 2 spare batteries and a charger, and I keep that in my bag, right? And I just use a power bank to keep the batteries charged up, so everything is very compact. And I can get through 3 hours of logging um, with my Insta360. I got a text too. I don't know why they're telling me that. I'll have to ask her. So yeah, you're not really using the M5 Mark III as much, right? You're just using this more often, right? The little ones. Because when you're out in the field and you're trying to handle, trust me, I was out there with like 3 cameras trying to vlog and take pictures and do video. 3 of these bodies to do things, right? Because you need your B-roll, you need your vlogging cam, and then you need the camera that you're taking pictures with. And then you start dropping things left and right. We've all been there, right? And then when you get a camera about the size of this lens cap that you can just hang here or set over here, right, with a magnet, it's like, and the video qualities for a vlog is fine, So, because somebody asked me the other day, what camera should I get for vlogging? I said, just get a little GoPro or something. If you're just going to vlog, don't sit there and buy a whole rig and buy into, if you watch Camera Conspiracies, right? He's always out there with the frickin' Fujis and Olympus, and he's out there with like full on gear, but he's got some guns on him, right? He can hold that crap up for hours maybe, but not me. If I'm going to be out vlogging, and Robin could do it. Actually, you're pretty beefcake too yourself there, Robin. Anyway, you can they can do that stuff, not me. I don't have the guns for it anymore. 20 years ago, man, I was man about town, let me tell you. But now, I can just, picking up this water bottle. I don't even want to carry a water bottle all day. Oh, an IR camera. I have an IR camera. I'll have to take it out and shoot with it. It's an old Olympus E420, I think. And I don't even know if they still a viewer, but a viewer sent it to me to use. And, we had the COVID thing, then it became winter, and then I just never took it out really. Just a couple of times, but not for a vlog. But I saw Thomas Heaton did an infrared, he converted it XT3, right? And got some really cool shots. So now, like, it's very green out, the summer. I have to wait for a nice sunny day and take out that infrared camera and see what happens. Okay, Tony, we'll see you later. Yeah, less is more, right? Casey changes his mind at the drop of a hat. He's really crapping all over. 2 videos hating on it so far. Yeah. Well, he is who he is. I told him like 4 years ago, if not longer, I told him just get the just get the EM5 Mark III with a 12 millimeter f2, and you're done. You know, and he gets the camera. He tries the camera out and doesn't know how to use it, so he's not. Anyway, Casey is the best though. I love his channel, but I wouldn't go to him for any camera advice specifically. And his viewers do, and I think his advice is fair, but I wouldn't ask him about anything about Olympus. But he does have a point about the video settings he did in his video this morning that I saw. I don't think you can save the video settings to the custom. And I found the video where Peter said you could do that, but he didn't actually demonstrate it. It was like one of his 5 tips things, so he just said you can do it, but it's behaving exactly the same as the EM1 Mark III. You could change the video settings to whatever you want, but when you hit the record button, it goes into program mode. So I'm not done yet. I need to do my more due diligence on that. I was going to do that before the stream started today, but then I couldn't get my camera to turn on. So I had to reboot everything. That's why I started late. I need an assistant. I don't know. I'm partial to brunettes personally, but it's been so long. Let's not go there. We're talking about assistants for my thing here, my channel. Says I'm souring on Casey. He speaks with conviction for multiple videos when he's doing stuff wrong or doesn't know. He may be corrected later, but if he's wrong, damages. Oh, yeah, I get that. He needs to. It's kind of like, I think people who watch his channel that don't know him will. Yeah, you're right. I think what you're saying, because he gets more new subscribers in a day than I think I have total. But his he has stated very clearly in the past that he is an entertainment channel. Now it's kind of morphed into where he's always doing reviews, and like you said, he talks with conviction, right? But yeah, I can see where people coming in that don't know him might take his word a little bit too seriously, and they shouldn't. I don't know. he needs to reiterate, this is what I mean by pulling stuff out of your butt, right? Like when he was dumping on Robin Wong in that first video, the one before he apologized. Um, that's what I mean about people just pulling stuff out of their butt and not really knowing what they're talking about. And I try to avoid that as much as I can. I can't help myself sometimes. I don't know why. I think I know something and then I pull something out of my butt thinking that's it. The intent is not to deceive anybody. It's just I didn't know what I was doing, right? That's a little bit different. Uh, so I don't think he's intentionally trying to give misinformation, but you can't just pull stuff out of your butt and say, yeah, Robin Wong's channel is somebody you shouldn't watch, and then have to apologize for it later. Don't pull stuff out of your butt, especially when you're naming names. You know, all I did was pull this little tripod out of my butt and said, is this what you're talking about? That's about as bad as I will ever get when I pull stuff out of my butt. I'm not going to sit up there and straight up and say somebody sucks. Unless I think they really do and I can back it up with why I think somebody sucks or somebody is great. So, from what I know of Casey, I think, he has a great channel and he's a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, he's got to watch it, man. You can't be pulling stuff out of your butt with conviction and then have to apologize for it later and correct for it later. You have to so he's been a little bit, yeah, I agree. I see where you're coming from. He's been a little bit on the edge. He's pulling stuff out of his butt a little bit more than he should be. Uh so because yeah, the all-in-one is to me, the only video I put out that I feel a little bad about, but I put that video out saying how the autofocus failed in the video mode, right? The face tracking and all that. So I made another video right after that to kind of remedy that video. So yeah, I'm a little bit guilty myself, right? But at the same time, why can't I just turn the camera on, face detect, and have it detect my face? It should just work. So that's why I left that video. I almost took that video down because the very next day I reset the camera and everything was perfect. It worked amazing. It was great. But some reason that day I was getting terrible results. Um, Relatively speaking, from because your expectations are up here and then the camera performs around here, which is still really good, but when your expectations are, so I almost took that video down because I felt a little bit guilty. But then I said, you know what? It is what it is. That's how I felt at the time when I made the video. So I'm going to leave it. So I stand by that video. But, you know, you can't just start naming names and so Casey, if not that he has never mentioned my name once that I know of, right? And I talk about him occasionally. And it's always positive. But I would say this is the one area that he's kind of drifting into, like just pulling stuff out his butt before doing his due diligence, and that'll get you into trouble, right? Like Marco, you're like getting a little bit soured, right? You're not the only one. I guarantee there's probably, if he has 100,000 subscribers, there's probably thousands of people just like you that are like, come on, Casey, you know what I mean? But if he's getting thousands of subscribers new every day, maybe he doesn't care. I don't know. I don't think he's that kind of person. I think he's a good guy. It just, you kind of get in this mode where and he's a lot younger, I think. Maybe he's my age or older, but because of the way he eats, he looks a lot younger, right? Watch him come on and says, yeah, I'm really 65 years old, but because, I'm the vegetable police and I eat like this, I look like I'm 30. Anyhow, Eriscafas. Okay. I haven't done any street in a while. So, okay. I just thought I'd share that. Rob Trek, it's different. You and Casey attack things from a different angle. Your approaches are very different. Yes, no question. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It's like when Northrop said Olympus was dead. But Northrop has a ton more subscribers, and the expectation from Tony is a lot different than I think the expectation from somebody like Casey, right? If Tony says something, people are gonna take that with a lot. He has a certain amount of credibility, right, with a lot of people, and when he says something that like that, it's a lot different. Because Casey could say, "Yeah, Micro Four Thirds is dead," and people will laugh it off. Most people would anyway. I would think, right? I'm sure he said it many times. Like he used to say, "What Micro Four losers" all the time. But you take what he says with a grain of salt. But there's a lot of people that take what Tony says, uh, very seriously. And I get it. So when he says something like that, I didn't really have a rebuttal video at the time. I did make one very briefly, but I incorporated it within a photo walk. So I talked a couple of minutes about what Tony said because I disagreed with some of the points he made. Um, but I didn't want to make it a rebuttal video about that, right? So I'm like, whatever camera I have now, I know it's going to be good for many years to come. Um, so I try to make purchases that make sense, and buying it is a lot different than buying something when it makes sense, right? Like I could buy the 12 to 50 lens, that would make no sense for me. Although it's a good lens, there's lots of reasons to buy a lens like that. It doesn't make any sense for me to get a lens like that because I have that covered. Um, why was I talking about something to do with Tony? Tony, Tony needs to retire and just let Chelsea take over. I would watch Chelsea 24/7, but Tony not so much. He's a good guy, has a great following, and he needs to be careful too, more so than others. And I hope that he's making videos to be helpful and not for clickbait. You know, and I think he is, but because his channel's so big, he's just attacked in a way that channels like mine are not, right? And I mean, I get very, very minor attacks. I'll find them in a forum somewhere. Like somebody will say something that I'm a shill or, the usual troll stuff, right? It's very rare, but occasionally I'll find something. And it doesn't bother me at all, right? Because they don't know me, right? They don't know that I'm just a guy with a camera trying to share what I know about photography and how to use the cameras. But I'm human. I can make a mistake. But somebody like Tony, right? And Robin's getting there, and so is Peter and Jimmy. All their channels are growing. Mine is not. But Tony and Fro, their channels are so big that they have a certain amount of credibility just by their channel size. If you don't know anything else about them, you see they have 1 million plus subscribers, you're going to take what they say a little more seriously than a guy with like 30,000 subscribers like me, right? But um, anyway, I've been jibber jabbering a long time here. What are you guys talking about? Basile says nearly all your gear reviews are terrible, regardless of the accuracy of their review features. They train people to think a lot about photography in terms of specs. Oh, you're not saying my videos. You're saying all YouTube gear reviews. Okay. Yes. Um, that's why I don't have very many reviews, like on cameras, right? Like, let me show you. if you go to my channel here, you know, I have my recent videos, my special guests, photography for beginners, my photo walks, and then the OM system. But, you know, we're talking about settings and tracking and focus stacking, then training videos on the EM10. This is my #1 video on my channel. Believe it or not, the one I made, like, this is very early on. 183,000 views. God, I don't think I'll ever get that again. You know, tutorials, right? And then more tutorials, but these are camera specific tutorials, you know, assigning the shutter button, grid lines, yada, yada. Same thing with the EM5, you know, about the grip, menu settings, shooting menu settings, etc. Okay, camera reviews. This is not even a review. This is a comparison of older cameras. This is which 20 megapixel camera is best. And then this was me just trying out the RP. And that's it. I don't have any other camera reviews. I might, but I can't think of them. And then the people I recommend you watch, right down here. See if any, oh, and Maddie. So that's what's on my channel. For people that don't know me, this is what's on my channel. Okay. Have to have thick skin when you put your work out there. Yeah, that's true. It used to be, when I first put my videos out, I was terrified of that, right? Like, you know, somebody saying something bad. And once in a blue moon, I would get something that was mildly negative, and it really hurt my feelings. I was like, oh, you know, now it's like, I don't know. I'm only 6 years older. I guess I've been doing this channel 6 years, right? No, I'm just too old for that crap. You know, I don't care anymore. You know, if people, you know, if I do my best and I'm sincere in my intent and honest, and somebody says something bad about me, I don't care, you know, because I know where my heart is and my intent, and to do my best. I'll try to correct mistakes, but for the most part, somebody says something bad, it's like, you know, they're just in a different place. That's why even now I try not to say anything bad about anybody, because it just doesn't, it doesn't mean it. It doesn't do any good, you know, because they're going to blow it off. I could say something terrible about Tony. There's a couple of things. Let me tell you. I didn't get as mad as Peter did. Peter Forsgaard got so mad at Fro one time. Oh my God, he was steaming mad. I remember that. When Fro reviewed the EM1X, oh my God. When I watched Peter's rebuttal on that, oh my God. Yeah, you could just see his eyes like searing through the screen, trying to burn Fro down, you know. But, you know, most YouTubers, if they've been on YouTube for any length of time, they just brush off all this, any negative comments anymore. Especially me, now that I'm in my 50s, late 50s. It's like, you just don't care anymore, you know? And what is this comment I missed? Yeah, Marco's been doing this a long time, right? I've been writing about tech for 20 plus years, and have learned not to take the comments too seriously. Many folks are very accusatory. I can't pronounce that. No matter what you're, yeah, exactly. Oh, 36. Oh, she's too young for me. Not too young that I can't watch her on YouTube, but my proposal is off the table now. If you're really only 36, That yeah, I can't marry you, Chelsea. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just too young. I got to keep, I don't get these people that date like that are years and years apart like that, like 20 plus years. I mean, when people connect, age is not that important. I get that. But I'm not going to actively look for something like that, you know? So, yeah, I'll watch Chelsea on YouTube, but not I guess it's back to Jennifer Aniston then, you know? I used to carry a ring with her name on it everywhere just in case I ever ran into her, I could propose. That's not true. But if I did have a ring, I would definitely propose to Jennifer Aniston like this. Why is my channel still up here? Nobody cares. Man, this is a long butt stream, isn't it? I watched this guy, Lauren. I watched a few of his videos. It didn't work for me. I mean, he definitely has a personality, but I just didn't connect with him very well. Um, but I could see where people would really like him, and so check out his channel, Tudor Matisque. I mean, I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm saying it didn't work for me, right? I didn't connect with him very well. Um, but you guys might. You guys might love his channel. I forget what it is, what it's about now. It's photography related. Clearly, it's been a while, but I didn't connect with him, so I don't watch him. It's just like that other guy. He's really popular, and he has a great channel, the Photographic Eye. I'm not connecting with him too well. I mean, his content is great. He's very articulate. Clearly has a lot of experience and has a great channel. But when I see his thumbnails come up for his videos, I don't click on them because I just don't connect. I can't watch him for 10 minutes straight. But that's just me, right? I mean, he probably has more subscribers than me right now, actually, and he just started. Oh my God, what's it? Let me look at what he's doing. Photographic Eye. Holy crap! He's got 100,000 subscribers now. My God, he started like just a year ago, or he hasn't been on that long. So definitely, he's got a good audience. He's doing something that's working that I'm not, clearly, which is fine. Everyone, different strokes for different folks. But this is another channel that's really good that I don't watch. Let me pull it up. This guy here, I watched a couple in the beginning that I liked. That was about when he was talking about other photographers. Yeah, discover great photographers. Like, I really like, well, you can see the bar here. There's a red bar here, means I watched it. I watched a little bit of this. Let's see. I watched this one. So you can see I didn't watch much. Some of these I think I think they just came on in the playlist. Like, I don't remember watching these, even though there's red bars under them. But I know I definitely watched that one. I kind of remember this one. But yeah, well, there's not like a red bar under every single video, right? So I just didn't connect with him. But he has a great channel. I definitely recommend him, but you know how it is, right? Photography online. I think I've seen this one. Photography. 9. Let me see. Oh, I haven't seen this before. I don't see a red bar under any video. Wow, they have a membership page? Interesting. True, a short film, 150. Okay. It looks familiar, but I don't know if I've seen anything. Oh, there's a red bar. Something about seascapes, but I didn't finish it. I didn't finish this one. There's a tiny red bar here. Oh, I watched this one. Oh, spikes. Yeah, okay. This was an awesome video on spikes. So after I watched that video, that's why it looked familiar. I put the spikes on my tripod. I'm so happy because I don't know, I was trying to find something about getting more stable images and stuff, and I came across that video with spikes, and yeah, that was an eye opener for me because I had no idea what these spikes were for, but now I know, and now I use them all the time. These spikes. Okay, so if you want to know what good channels to subscribe to, you have to subscribe to mine first. Okay. This I need to tighten the leg. It's a pain when it's just loose like that. You subscribe to mine, then you come in the chat section. Then the viewers like David Tellett will tell you the good channels. Martin Hellborn, Photo Online. Wow. Eris Standard. Wow, a lot of good channels in here. Basia, 1.25 thousand. What are you talking about, Basia? Mads Peterson. Mads Peterson. Who is he? He's not a regular thing that I watch. Mads Peterson. Let me see. The name is so familiar. Oh, this guy. Okay. Let's see if I've watched anything from him. No. I think I've watched stuff from him, but okay, I watched a little bit about here. I got like a minute into it and I exited out. I watched like a minute there and I quit. So yeah, I haven't watched very much of him. I know who he is, but I haven't watched very much of him. I'm very finicky when it comes to YouTube. I just watch a little bit sometimes, and I'm like, that's enough. He's not going to tell me anything really new or interesting or helpful to me. I'm not saying it. I don't know. Just as soon as I start watching something, if I don't connect right away on a just as a student level, like, because when I watch a YouTube video, I'm the student now, right? I'm trying to learn something, and if I don't connect with the instructor right away, I don't really watch much more after that. Oh, this is an easy answer. What's better than Instagram? Flickr. Flickr is better. I love Flickr. Flickr. Definitely. I have my Flickr page down here. So you can go to my Flickr page, but I like Flickr. Irene Rudnick is awesome. And workflow is very informative. All right, I'm going to look up one more and then I'm going to go. So let's look up Irene. I haven't heard of her. The name is familiar, but I haven't. Irene Rudnick. And that's not typing in. Irene Rudnick. Oh, how you doing? Her voice, her video is playing now. I can hear it. It sounds familiar. Have I watched anything? Oh, I did watch something here, like for a minute. It was probably one of those like automatic plays after something else. I don't know. I haven't watched anything from her. I started one, but probably not. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm just looking for the little red bars underneath. So, some of my notifications here. Anyway, I got to answer a question there. Smugmug. Yeah, Smugmug is good. I think they own Flickr. I have to watch this Irene. 800,000 subscribers. Holy crap. Man, if I had even 100,000 subscribers, I'd be like, that's right. I've made it, you know? Oh, wow. Since we're all searching for good channels and content, I have to say that I'm an average photographer and don't have a channel. For portrait photography, yeah, that's probably why I haven't watched hers. I'm not really a portrait guy. Huh. Martin Hellenbraun. All right, that's the one. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Martin. Oh, I know who this guy is. Yeah, I've watched a few of his videos. Not recently, apparently. I got no red bars. It's been 9 months. When's the last time I watched a video by him? Over a year. If it goes more than a year, I probably have cleared my cache or cookies and stuff, you know? So it's hard to say. But it's been a while. Well, it's been at least 3 months since I installed Windows 11 or whatever. So that would have been the last time I cleared my browser history, I think, for YouTube. Because YouTube, you can clear the history for YouTube separately, right? But I'd leave it on because sometimes I want to go back to stuff that I want to see again, but didn't bookmark for whatever reason. So I leave my YouTube history on for almost forever, for about 3 to 6 months, and then I clear it. But Let me see if I can remember anything about him. I think I don't watch his channel because it's mostly reviews, right? There is some workflow stuff here. But Fujifilm recipes, lenses, Z9. Yeah, it's like a lot of reviews. So his thumbnails just never come up in my thing. Because you know how YouTube is, right? They recommend stuff to you. Wow, I'm just looking at my homepage. This is what comes up in mine is mostly prank videos, news bloopers. I love those scare cam videos. I can't help it. Yeah. Coffee with Claire. Oh, this might be good. Oh, wait, you guys can't see this. Hold on. Coffee with Claire. What are they going to talk about? Oh, they're going to talk about macro today. Oh, cool. All right, so I'll join you guys over there. That's going to start in about 5 minutes. I'll go into the chat section. I'll probably just watch it on my TV, so I may not be able to chat with you, but I think I'll watch that while I eat lunch. And then if you guys are over there, I'll see you over there. So thanks everybody for coming in today. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun today. I always have a good time. And I'll be back probably next Thursday, maybe Sunday, but probably not. I'll probably be back on Thursday. So you guys have a great weekend. Thanks again for being here today, and we'll see you again soon.